Well, over many years, I absolutely love working with children. And I'm very thankful that Premier Smith asked me to serve in this role as Minister of Children and Family Services. I have the absolute joy of working with children and families right across the entire province. Well, as part of the mandate letter, the Premier laid out a number of priorities, and the three areas on my mandate that I'm extremely excited about is number one is the $10 a day daycare. I committed to the federal ministers that Alberta remains committed on our path to achieve $10 a day daycare in the next couple of years. This is going to make an incredible difference for so many families that are just looking for a safe, inclusive, and affordable way to be able to have their children looked after while they're at work. I mean, for many moms and families, having affordable daycare may mean the difference if they actually go to work or not. So having that as part of my mandate is extremely important. Another second aspect that I'm really excited about is adoption. A key part of my mandate as well has to deal with making adoption easier for families. That also includes foster care and kinship care. For many of these kids, the government is the last line of defense. And so for myself, just making it so that kids can find forever families and families are supported during the process is pretty important. I adopted my youngest son 10 years ago. So adoption is very near and dear to my heart. And to be able to have adoption included in my ministry, I think it just shows to the Premier's heart, Premier Smith's heart, about where she feels and how she feels about families that kids are looked after. And the last part that I'm really excited to have included in my mandate has to deal with working with women's shelters and sexual assault centers and making sure that those residents are looked after. For many of those individuals utilizing those services, there's nowhere else for them to go. The province really is the end of the line, and so to be able to have that responsibility, making sure that those that are in most need are looked after, to me is pretty important. So those are the three aspects that really ring out to me about the mandate letter.
What do you think is the biggest or the most dressing challenge for the children and the family services, and how would your ministry work to address them?
Well, for myself, consultation with stakeholders is key. When I was a city councillor for 3 terms on city council, a key part that I utilized when I was part of the role is just making sure that I was always accessible to stakeholders and people that are involved in those different ecosystems that I worked with. And as minister, that's what I'll be doing as well. So I know over the next couple months, especially on the daycare file, we'll be reaching out to stakeholder groups right across the entire province to find out ways with a cost control framework, how we can really take advantage of all the intellect and the years of experience, tie that in with the system, and make sure that we develop a made-in-Albertan system that benefits not just our nonprofits, but also our private providers in providing that safe, accessible, and affordable daycare options for kids here in the province. So those consultations will be taking place over the next couple months, and to me that's key because I want to know what those community groups are thinking when it comes to many of the programs that the government is putting forth.
Alberta has a very multicultural background with new immigrants, with people from different countries. So they're from different cultural background and they have different tradition of raising. So how do you work to address their unique needs while respecting their culture? So how would you do this kind of work?
Well, first of all, respecting culture and so many aspects, whether it's with an ethnic or cultural community here in the province or one of our First Nations communities that we partner with, I want to make sure that those strong ties regarding cultural heritage is strengthened, is supported. For me, it's really important that kids know their background, know their family's history, and that those traditions continue to be supported and as they move forward. So as I do these consultations, and I realize that different cultural groups have different flavors on how they like to provide their childcare, and for me, it's going to be really important to take into consideration all those different viewpoints as we kind of go through this consultation process. We have a set agreement with the federal government that was signed that we're going to be adhering to. So my challenge will be is how do we take into consideration those different ideas about the different cultural communities around the province and make sure that we can find a plan that works for them as we follow through on the $10 a day daycare commitment that we made with the federal government.